Perfect. Also, the story that Jacob was talking about, I flew to France after day 3 of training. So I got my sample kit and then I annoyed my parents with Cutco a lot. But it's okay because I ended up doing pretty well. So um basically, first off, Jacob is right. I really wish that I could be there. I miss the team so much. I miss the environment. Team meetings were I looked forward to those every single week. So I'm super jealous that I'm not there right now. But yeah, I'll go through a little bit about my path with the company. So I started right out of high school, June 2023. I This is my first job. I've never worked anywhere babysitting, but that doesn't really count. Like it wasn't really that official. Um, I so this is my first job. I never sold anything before. Cora Sullivan, who I play ice hockey, and she was my teammate. She started before me. She sold 14,000 in her fast start. So I don't I was maybe a bit delusional. I was like, okay, well she sold 14,000. So Jacob's talking about this big 10K fast start. Like I bet I could do that. So I did sell $10,000 my first 10 days, which was pretty cool. But I ended up selling $50,000 in my first summer, or $49,000 to be specific. But I that's not really what I set out to do. It just sort of happened, and I'll talk a little bit about that in a bit. But I was number 18 in the country, so I earned a scholarship for school, which was pretty cool. Uh, I made $16,000, which was also really cool. Mainly just, Abs and I have this little running joke where I just make a lot of money and we have a big bank, little bank sort of argument going on. But Abs is one of my best friends. I love that guy. But so I was pretty motivated to run a branch office just because I saw a bunch of people, Tarek and Maya, they were really, really successful, and I wanted to do that. Winter break, I went to Cabo. That was sick. I've never been to Mexico before, and being able to just be in Mexico with all these other people who have sold so much Cutco, like they're so good at what they do, and it's nice to have that community of, yes, you can go out and you can have fun in Mexico and whatever, but you're like, everyone is so motivated and everyone is so motivating. So I was just surrounded by so many people that helped me be better and helped me want to do more. um but I ended up running a branch office. It was pretty fun. I had one of my reps sell $10,000 over the summer. That was a really cool experience. But I'm here to talk about my first summer. And again, I sort of came into this job not really knowing what I wanted to get out of it. Uh, I just knew I wanted to work and I wanted to make my own money and I wanted to show up. And that's sort of what I did in training. Jacob kept saying, okay, well, this is what our top performers do. And then he would list a couple things. One of them was Champs Club. And so in my mind, right, I play ice hockey, and I was in high school. I was on a very, very good team. Like we were one of the top. It was one of the top programs in the country. So in my mind, like I have high standards for myself, and I want to be a top performer, right? I wanted to play hockey in college. I wanted to do all that stuff. So Jacob says this is what our top performers do. I was like, okay, I wrote that down. Come to Champs Club every single day to make phone calls. And I listened to him, and that's what I started doing. I did that for my fast start, and it was working. And one of the main reasons why I kept doing it throughout the summer is because I knew that making phone calls is how you get demos, and getting demos is how you sell more and how you make more money. But also because when I called him, before and after my demos, and he's like, okay, well, make 5 calls before your next appointment, or how many calls are you making tonight? And I would give him a number. I wouldn't do it. I just don't phone on my own, really, or I didn't phone on my own. And so I knew that if I really wanted to make phone calls, I needed to come to the office because I needed that external accountability, because I knew that I was not going to do the work at home sitting in my bed. So my cat, like, my cat, there's the window, I could look outside, there's my phone, there's too many distractions. I was not going to do work. I even annoying my parents, like I would have rather done that than phone calls, or just like literally anything. I did not like phone calls in the beginning. So if you don't like phoning, That's normal. But I knew that if I really wanted to be successful, I needed to show up to the office every day. Also, I wasn't a morning person. Um, it's in high school, I had the first, at least my first period free every single day, so I was used to sleeping in. And then, so like I slept in. I got to school at like 9:30, right? I slept in. Getting to the office at 7:15 was a bit different, especially with my 40-minute drive. I lived in the city. Um, but again, I knew that I wanted to be successful. Um, and also before, I want to let you guys know that like before this job, I was pretty shy. I was not very good at conversations. I swear, I actually didn't know how to have small talk. Like after the hi, how are you? I didn't know what to say. Um, I wasn't that social. I was sort of lazy, and this job really it forces you to talk to people. So I obviously learned how to hold conversations, and just how to speak better, I guess. And I saw so much growth within myself, and my parents also saw a lot of growth in me. But main thing that I think the main thing that I grew in my first summer is my trust in myself, right? Because when Jacob would call me and he would say, "All right, like see you at Champs Club tomorrow," and I would say, "Yep," I actually showed up, right? Like I committed to something and I followed through. And that because like I gave him my word and I followed through on that, that built my trust in myself because when you say something and you don't follow through, you know, say, "Oh yeah, like I'm gonna come to Champs Club," and you hit snooze, right? Then like you're going back on your word. And like you might not think that that's that big of a deal, but it actually is because if you can't trust yourself with your own word, how can you expect anyone else to trust you? Right? And like that's where a lot of self-confidence comes from, is like the trust in yourself. And so I was also not confident at all. Zero confidence in myself. From the beginning of the summer to the end of the summer, I grew so much. I was a lot more confident and it was really, really amazing. Um, and I would just show up to the office every single day and make phone calls. And again, I also like didn't think, oh, I'm gonna sell $50,000 my first summer, right? Like I had no comprehension of like how much I could do. I just showed up every day and I sort of got lost in the process. And that's sort of what the really important thing is for the summer, is just get lost in the process. Don't worry about, yes, you can have big goals. Yes. Make a goal for yourself, sell 50, sell $100,000 in a summer, but don't focus on that end goal. Focus on, okay, let me show up at the office. Let me get I did 2, 3 appointments a day. Maybe sometimes one. I didn't do like, there were some things happen. There were some appointments where, or some days where I didn't get any appointments or I got no shows or people canceled on me, right? Like I didn't do 10 appointments a day, but I was just consistent. And that's where you become successful, is consistency, because like, yes, I did have a 23,000 CPO order, which is amazing. And it also took me a year and a half to get to that. Like every single demo, I was like, "Hey, do you know anyone who like owns a business or gives gifts or whatever?" And it took me a year and a half to get to that order. And I placed it and I made 10 grand in a day, and that's amazing. And it was a very, very good feeling. But if like, I do that and then I am very inconsistent and I don't really do anything for like the next 3 weeks, like as opposed to someone who does demos consistently, they're gonna sell more than me because of consistency. Um, so that's sort of, I just got lost in the process. And I think that that's just really important. And I also got a lot of recognition, which was really nice. But another thing is this job or this position, it's very, very flexible and you work around your schedule. I played hockey. I worked out my first summer. Um, but and the people who I were around, there were people who wanted to be here, right? And I think that that created such an amazing environment because everyone who showed up the office, like everyone wanted to be here and to work hard and to push themselves and to do more and to grow. Um, and the people who were like in the office but weren't really like a part of the office, I didn't know them. Like I feel like you don't really get that much out of this position if you show up and you don't really want to do the work or get anything out of it. Because yes, it's flexible, and yes, I'm not saying do demos every single day. If you have family stuff, like, go out of town for a little bit. But when you're here, like, this job is to really help you grow. And so if you're not committed to growing and really pushing yourself, because it's not, I can say, hey, I want you to do $60,000 a summer, but it's all about what you want, how much you want to grow, how much you want to work. That will really determine that, right? And so if you're like, oh, I just sort of want to coast this summer, this job isn't for you, right? Like, go get a night, like, go get some, minimum wage job. This job is if you want to. I made $16,000 when I was 18 years old, and I have never, this is my first job. I hadn't worked a day in my life before this, right? Like, this job is if you want to actually grow and, like, do the things that you didn't think were possible. And that's so amazing. And that's why I love this job so much. And that's why, like, I've grown so much, is because I really pushed myself and I grew because I put in the work. And if you don't want to put in the work, then this job isn't for you. But that's how, and I've made so many amazing, like, Abs. I love this guy. Abs is literally, I swear to God, he is one of my best friends. We talk every single day. And Michaela, I'm sure you guys know Michaela. I'm going to Boulder next year, and she's graduating, and I'm pissed about it because she's graduating a year early, so we could have been to school together, but, like, she's graduating. She's gonna do amazing though. She's gonna run an amazing office, and I love her and I respect her, and she's amazing. She's also one of my best friends. Like, I've met such amazing people, and it's amazing that, like, this community is a place where you're surrounded by like-minded people who want to grow and want to get better. And you meet such, like, inspirational people here, and it's awesome. And this community is, like, I honestly don't know where I would be without this job. But the reason I'm here is because I pushed myself and I grew, and I listened to Jacob, and I was like, whatever you say, show up to the office. All right. But um but yeah, I mean, that's sort of how you have a good summer, is just get lost in the process. Don't limit yourself. Like, truly, like, believe in yourself and just do the work, and you will grow and commit to things and follow through, and you will see a lot of progress. And you'll probably have a better summer than I did. Um but yeah, that's sort of all I have today. I